Hello, friends. Welcome back to We Are Kibitzing today because I am in no shape to try and run a D&D game. My mind is not with it. So, but we are here with the Brocktacular Brockness of Brocktosity, Darth Dragonus.
Very unusual.
Very unusual. Yeah, I'm working on it. My like I said, my mind's not all with it. So I mean, since we're not playing, we're kibitzing. How are you doing? How are things going?
As they have been going for the past year and a half or so.
Right? I ask this question knowing full well what the answer is. Let's not candy coat life. It's been a crap show. For a lot of us out here, it's been a crap show. And, I get it. Yeah. But that's what it is, eh? Let's see. What have you done fun recently? Anything?
Yeah, I smoked some weed.
Hey, all right. That's fun. That's, right on.
Yeah. Not sure what else you're trying to get me to say here.
No, I'm looking for anything to talk about that isn't the stuff that's going wrong.
Went grocery shopping.
Yeah?
That's the extent of my fun now.
That's, okay. That is a thing. How was grocery shopping?
Well, I have found in my old age that it is better to go early.
When there are less people?
Well, when the stuff is recently stocked.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll go at like 11 o'clock, and there'll be like holes and gaps in places.
Oh, yeah, because people have already wore it out.
Yeah. If I go at 9 o'clock, it's like a whole new store.
It's all freshly put out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. I can dig that.
Which is unusual for me. I'm not a morning person.
Right.
But I also have to contend with the summer heat. And,
yeah.
Try not to wait until it gets stupid hot.
Yeah.
I've also gone grocery shopping at like midnight, and that's too sad even.
That's too what?
Sad even for me.
Okay. I can get that. I get that. It's a little, it is just,
It's low energy.
Yeah.
No employees. It's like you're picking through the scraps left on the shelves.
Right. It's like trying to go grocery shopping in Soviet Russia.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about, yeah. I used to love going grocery shopping late at night. Not because, I mean, yeah, we were picking through mostly whatever was left on the shelves, but it didn't really matter. It was more the fun of being out in the world. Hi, Just Me Crystal. Much love. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Mwah. But yeah, just going shopping late at night, I just would enjoy seeing the other freaks, the weird people out there like myself. And it was nice to, it was nice to see other weird people out in the world, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I call myself a freak pretty easily, pretty freely. I really do see myself as a bit strange, a bit weird, a bit not normal, quite a bit not normal.
Okay.
Late night at Walmart is entertaining. Yeah, it is, Crystal. Yeah, it is. um, I'm yeah, I see myself as that kind of a person, as strange, as not normal. And I think I don't think freak, for me at least, doesn't hold a bad connotation. I am a freak and I am good with it. I think part of it is I know that I know I'm just not normal. Like my body isn't normal. My physicality, at my basic nature, I'm not normal. So I just kind of lean into it. I don't know what that has to do with Walmart at midnight, but really, I wanted to do this stream just so that I could spend some time with you. We text every day. We talk here and there, but our actual time together's pretty limited. So I just yeah, just wanted to hang out with you for a little bit. Uh, what interesting media have you been watching recently? What you been getting into that way?
This has been, I don't know, like 2 weeks of not a whole lot of new stuff is coming out.
A lot,
So,
not a whole lot of what coming out? New stuff?
new stuff, yeah.
Okay.
So you basically asked me at the wrong time. If you asked me this 3 weeks ago, I could give you like 5 or 6 days.
Well, geez. My timing is crap on that one. mm. Hmm. All right.
Basically, I've been trying to watch a lot of Richard Iowade.
A lot of what?
Richard Iowade stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's a trip. You know, um
Yeah.
you know where I think one of the things I think he really does well in is Big Fat Quiz. Um uh
He's
that,
on a couple of those shows, so it's kind of difficult to figure out which one that is.
yeah.
Is he the host or is he just
He's a
that's
panelist. He's a panelist.
Continuously, or
Regularly, not every time, but a decent number of the times he is on big fat quiz. It's he's on that more often than he's on 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. Oh, and what's the other one that
I have no idea.
their panel shows are kind of a thing in UK, in Britain.
I know.
And
I get a lot of Richard Ayoade through my feed on their shows.
Okay.
And I know 8 out of 10 cats is one of them, but he's not a continuous panelist.
Right. I think the only
So,
two continuous panelists on that are um uh oh crap, I can't remember their names now.
it doesn't matter.
All right. Um yeah. It's
Yeah, so I'll have to go cherry pick through those episodes
yeah.
in a little.
Yeah. What's why do you like Richard Ayoade? What's got you
Uh,
into him?
Genuine? Like, it's difficult to find that in stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedian in stand-up comedy. Is somebody who it seems like he's playing a role, but he's not actually playing a role.
Okay. I can see that. He is very much that person. That he is.
Yeah.
You know, I want to watch the IT Crowd. I want to like it. I don't.
I don't either. And
And
there are
it's
people in the show that I thoroughly enjoy. I just
right,
don't like the show.
right. Like I should not dislike that show, but I do. No, I should, because it's the same. It's the same sort of thing where I don't really like Ab Fab. Like they're not really good people. They're not trying to be better people. They're not learning to be. They're just bad. I mean, Richard Ayoade is not bad in that one, or whatever his character's name in, but they're not. There's nothing likable about the characters for me.
Yeah.
And if I can't like the characters, then I can't get into the show. Yeah, and I wanted them to be likable because they're misfits. I didn't want them to be on, misfits and reprehensible or not likable or.
Yeah. You right?
I'm all right. I'm all right. These this batch of pre-rolls.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember.
yeah. So they're a little hard to hit sometimes.
Well, it's going to be difficult to remember, but try taking smaller hits.
Yeah. So, I guess, I was about to ask. Thanks, Crystal. I, you know, I want to touch on something that is, and I'm going to touch on this probably every show for a while. Every stream, not just these streams, not just, but, uh, quitting drugs is hard. Is a hard thing to do. So if you know anybody who is going through quitting drugs, give them any help you can.
Even if they don't listen.
Yeah. Yep. It is. Whew. It's rough. Also, marijuana does not count as drugs. You ain't joking, you ain't smoking. That's right, Crystal. More you cough, more you get off. Oh, no, wait, that's autoerotic asphyxiation.
It might still get you through, but doubtful.
What might?
Yeah, coughing, though it makes you feel more of a head rush right there in the moment, it actually affects your buzz poorly.
Does it?
Negatively. Yeah.
Okay.
They're kind of like cigarettes.
Mm.
You know, the thing used to be is you'd smoke a bowl and then you go smoke a cigarette, and the cigarette would get you a little higher,
Mm-hmm.
but it would cut your buzz off at the end.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's kind of like the same thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I don't know if it's because you're training muscles, if it's because you're doing a little bit of oxygen deprivation, a combination of everything.
Speeding up blood flow, getting the blood moving.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't know. That is
Probably a combination of everything.
yeah, probably. Uh Trying to think of stuff to talk about.
Well, just remember to stay hydrated.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I've been drinking a lot of water, and Gatorade, and I. The hard part is I'm not hanging on to the water. It's just going right through me. Like
Yeah, it's going to take a while, but that will eventually stop. You'll
yeah.
also stop holding on to any water.
Any
And I know
what?
it sucks.
I'll stop holding on to
Any
any
water weight.
what? Any water weight.
Water weight,
Yeah.
which will be good for your muscles.
Yeah. Boy, will
Now,
it.
this is not to say that the only thing that you are allowed to drink should be hydrated. Just keep in mind that coffee, if it's got sugar and caffeine, isn't hydrated.
Right.
Decaffeinated coffee is basically like flavored water,
Right.
which I guess is why people drink it, because they want some flavor in their water.
Because the flavor of coffee is soothing. Because they've taught themselves that coffee is soothing.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to yuck somebody's yum.
Right.
I've tried a couple of different coffees recently, but I'm not going to give up just yet.
Oh, man.
And then the same thing with Gatorade. So Gatorade is really good at getting electrolytes back.
Right.
It's not the greatest at hydration. You
Right.
got salt and sugar and stuff in there as well. That's kind of battling against.
Right. Ugh.
So basically, this I try to preach this same rule with alcohol.
Mm.
Because if you're going to have a glass of wine, have a canned beer, a bottle of beer, have a glass of water. This, if you have a shot of liquor, go ahead and drink a cup of it.
Okay.
I wish it would work the same way, where if you drink a shot of liquor, you can just have a shot of water. But it
No.
doesn't work that way.
No. Tell you, I haven't had caffeine in probably. Oh, no, wait. I had caffeine last night. I
Well, and
had.
caffeine is not like an enemy or anything.
No, no.
You're allowed to
Um,
have it.
yeah. No, I'm saying this is the level of clean that I went. Like, I'm down to, I'm not even caffeining in the morning to wake up anymore. Like, the caffeine I had was in a cup of tea that I drank with food. That was, it wasn't like I slammed caffeine into my veins to wake up. It was just part of what I, drank. So I'm getting as close to raw dogging life as I really ever have.
Okay.
I'm not trying to quit cigarettes, but I'm really trying to stay cut down, you know.
That's right.
I'm I'm back down to a few cigarettes a day again after a few days of several packs a day, a pack a day. I have managed to come back down to a small handful of cigarettes a day.
Okay.
So it's, and I'm not trying, like I said, I'm not trying to raw dog life, but maybe my body will feel a bit better if I'm not constantly shoving chemicals in it.
Okay.
It's a funny place for me to be. I've spent my entire life trying to do the exact opposite of what I'm doing now.
Well, that's growth. It's learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you imagine if I was still stuck where I was 20 years ago, trying to get high every day, listening or like making people watch Venture Bros? That'd be sad, wouldn't it?
Uh, no, that sounds about like a decent way to live. Like, I'm not gonna knock that. Get high every day and watch Venture Bros? Hell yeah. Doing it to keep from experiencing life, that's, that's
Yeah, I
probably
try to
not.
say yes to life as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'm finally learning finally learning the last of those lessons from BoJack Horseman. You know?
Yeah, I remember BoJack.
Oh yeah. Man, that show helped me quit drinking. That show was instrumental in me being able to not drink. in me continuing to not drink and me finding the strength in myself to not drink.
Yeah.
That was that show was an amazing show. Although I have to imagine that if you don't need it, it's a hard watch for no good reason.
Well, especially if you don't know what you're about to get into, you can watch the first couple of episodes thinking this is going to be easy breezy kind of
Silly, funny, right.
television show.
With a
It
few...
stars a lot of people that you know of from other places.
Right. Right. It's, yeah. But the thing is it stays funny. Its entire run, it stays funny. You know?
Well, yeah. Which is helpful.
Right. But it sure does get heavy.
Yeah. That's what they say. Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Sometimes it's just tragedy equals comedy. The time factor is kind of not there. It occurs to me that if you're hanging on to comedy as a coping mechanism through trauma, then you use comedy in the moment and you don't really give your trauma time to actually be funny for real.
Okay, well, we're talking about comedy here, not healing.
True.
Two
I'm just saying.
Different ends of the spectrum.
I'm true. I am just saying though that like in that moment, sometimes there is no time aspect. It's just tragedy, comedy.
Yeah. Still think there should be a time.
Should be, yes.
Issue.
There should, yes, should. There should be. Because if there isn't, then that's also probably cruel comedy. But there's not always a... Sometimes comedy is cruel.
Yeah. Unfunny. That doesn't make it anything less of a joke.
You're right.
Now, what you do after will say a lot.
Right. I'm waiting for you to elaborate.
Oh. Well, we've talked about this before on stream, so I don't want to be repetitive.
Oh, okay.
But the singer of Falling in Reverse, right? He said a joke. A couple people laughed. A lot of people did not. Some people got very upset.
Right.
And he got backed into a corner where I'm guessing his fight or flight or freeze kicked in. And he decided to fight. So what he did after telling the joke said a lot about him.
Yes.
Could have just been like, "Oh, yo,
this was a
joke.
It was a joke and a bad joke, and I see that and own it." Adults
Hi,
own it.
Wasabi.
Hmm?
Yeah. Hi,
Adult.
Wasabi
Yeah.
is lurking.
Oh, hey, Wasabi. It's great to see you. Thank you for the lurk. Yeah, it is, it is, how you behave after the joke, how you behave. No worries. It's okay. I understand. I understand. Life is a thing that happens, a thing we do. It is okay. The choices you make after making a mistake really define who you are.
Well, and I would even go so far as to say that telling a joke is not a mistake,
No,
even if it's a dumb joke.
mistake is a strong word, but
Yeah.
after you do something wrong, how you behave, and you're right. You're very right. It says a lot about says who you are.
Didn't we used to call that the Chloe O'Brien syndrome? Because basically, where you just put your foot in your mouth continuously,
Yeah. Uh, um.
but it's not. You're not doing it because you're being mean or because you're ignorant or something.
Right.
For her, it was just part of her personality.
Right. Right. Yes, and dealing with the consequences of wasabi. Dealing with the consequences of. You know. Yeah. Yeah. I I screw up constantly. I do. I or did probably still do. But
Well, just change your sexual positions. Stop screwing up.
yeah, okay. Just go doggy. Screw sideways.
Yeah.
No, messing up isn't a moral failing. Being wrong isn't a moral failing. A moral
No,
failing
as a matter of fact, it's a condition of being human.
is,
Fail.
huh? I'm sorry,
That's
what?
pretty much a condition of being human is to fail.
Right. It's how you handle that defines who you are. That defines if you're a morally failed person. I think it is a moral failing to. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not calling out what is or isn't a moral failing because I don't know. I'm too new to trying to understand what to trying to understand the dynamics of moral behavior.
Moral philosophy.
I have spent my entire life doing good things.
Uh,
Being kind to people, being helpful, being, doing good, trying to do good for the world. I am not entirely sure that it was ever my choice to do that, though. I believe I might have been playing out my programming, doing what I was told to do, doing what I was told I was, I've always been told that I'm one of the most morally upright people, so I must behave morally.
By who?
My parents.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so I'm really not sure if I made those decisions on my own. I made those decisions. Those decisions were made. The benefits of those decisions cannot be denied. My my feelings about how other people feel. I get joy out of other people being happy, and I feel pain when other people are in pain. I
Okay.
I have empathy. Like I am an empathic person.
It's a pretty common
Right. And
have empathy.
I do want people to be happy, not because it makes me happy, but just because it's what they it's what it's what's possible. There's no reason we should be unhappy. I mean, other than chemical imbalances. Yes, humans are complex. Wasabi. We are very, very, very complex. But I'm not ready to say that I am a morally good person yet. In fact,
Okay.
I don't know that I want to ever be the one to make that call about myself. I don't know that am ready to say that that the way that I am is is innate in who I am. I do believe that I have been very shaped by my environment.
Okay.
I think it has more moral weight when other people choose to do good things because they aren't necessarily it may hold more moral weight when other people choose to do good things because they aren't necessarily operating from the programming that I am.
Yeah.
Not sure what that has to do with anything there. Not sure where I was going with that.
Well, it's going to be one of the hardest things that you have to do, but you're going to have to give up on all of that. Let all of that go.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hardest part for me was the comparison to others.
I can understand that.
Part of that includes doing stuff for other people without expectation. Also having no expectation of people ever doing it. Once those, once I was able to let those things go, the rest of the hard stuff was a lot easier. Moral philosophy became a lot more legit once I was able to put those pieces together. And basically, with the very limited knowledge that I have on philosophy, I was able to sum up yesterday 2 days ago at the end of the stream.
Yeah.
This philosophy is basically, what do we owe each other? What do we owe? What do we owe ourselves?
Yes.
So, what do we owe each other? Time, space, understanding. What are we owed? Not a single fucking thing. What do we owe ourselves? Everything.
I mean, yes, very true. Very wise, very true. And you're right, it is gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to it's gonna be hard to square with that.
Yeah.
I I still feel like I'm owed. I feel more like I am owed now than I ever have been, than I ever have felt.
Okay.
And so I do. To let go of that is going to be very difficult.
Yes.
It's the first.
Remember, it's possible.
It's positive. It's the first time in my life I've felt justified in saying I'm owed. In saying I'm enough of a person that I should be treated like a person.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how it
But
works like that?
yep. But you're right. No one no one owes me space and time and understanding. And
Exactly.
I can ask for those things. And I can ask for them without guilt of asking for them.
Yep.
It's not a moral failing to ask for these things.
To have boundaries is to be human.
But and asking can include sounding demanding. It
Uh,
it
that
is
might be something that you have to work on, and it's something that I have to work on. But I don't think that is the fault of everyone.
no, no. I I'm working on I I I'm working on learning that it's okay to be aggressively self-advocating.
Yes.
And that's part of
It's a whole
owing.
part of self-advocating.
Yes, it's a part of what I owe myself.
Yep.
And which is why I think that maybe sometimes sounding demanding as you request space and time and understanding, I think maybe that's,
And you can always follow this up with, I know it's coming across as I'm demanding, but what I'm trying to do here is set up boundaries.
right, right,
And maybe you have to be demanding to something.
maybe.
If those people still don't respect your boundaries, well, then forget about it.
Right. Do you really need them in your life? And if you really do need them in your life, then how much do you, I mean, at that point, how much do you need them, though? Or do you just
Really.
need something they provide?
Exactly.
I've noticed that my cats come say thank you before they eat. They tend to come cuddle with me for a few minutes before they go eat food.
Aww.
I feel I feel appreciated. It's nice, you know?
Yeah. Now, morally speaking, having animals is way different.
Yeah.
Because you owe your cats everything.
Absolutely everything because
Yeah.
because there's only so much that they can. Well, cats can do a lot for themselves, but I do owe
Oh yeah.
them. I owe them for making them my pet.
Yeah.
Dogs, I feel like we owe more to dogs than we owe to cats.
Same but different.
We've bred them to be what they are. So we owe them. We owe them the best.
We went a little overboard, yes, and those dogs especially deserve everything. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think that's taking responsibility for human history. You know, it's
yeah,
not our fault that we did this to dogs, but we're here now. You know?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this going to lead us into the Juneteenth conversation?
Huh?
Is this going to lead us into the Juneteenth
Oh,
conversation?
jeez, it's
Being that it's
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Oh
Yeah,
my god. I've forgot. I've been so deep in my own crap. Holy crap. Man.
this is what I thought you wanted to talk about today.
Happy Juneteenth, guys. Or as happy as it is. I mean, happy Juneteenth, guys. Man. Celebrating freedom.
1865, 160 years.
Although it's been 160 years of, you know, of people not taking responsibility for the damages done.
Yeah.
This really does lead into that Juneteenth conversation. Ugh, man, yeah, 160 years of 160 years of compounding the bad decisions early by making more bad decisions.
Yeah.
Like, every single step of the way. I mean, except for maybe one or two steps of the way where it's been like some progress was made. The rest of
It's
it,
been an uphill battle. Yeah.
oh my goodness.
There's a reason why we don't really teach history class until like high school.
Because we'd look terrible.
Yeah. Because our history is a continuous string of fucked up shit.
You know, I will say that I was taught all of this at an early age. You know, I was exposed to how really awful the history of our country is my entire life. Like, there is no part of my life where I wasn't aware of it. Yeah, it's, I guess, though, that explains why I really have not had much respect for this country that I am part of and live in, because it
Yeah.
hasn't been worthy of respect. And I've known it its entire time. Like, why should I follow the rules of a country who built itself by owning other human beings, torturing them, and doing it all for greed? Just for greed, just to have more.
Yeah.
It's hard to respect. It's hard to respect this country.
Yeah.
I can respect people in this country. And I can respect ideals that this country espoused, even if it didn't live up to them. But it's really hard to respect this country.
Espoused. Is that what happens if you meet on eHarmony?
What?
Espoused. Is that what happens if you meet on eHarmony?
Yes. Why?
So yeah.
Why did this country have to? Why did slavery have to be a thing? Why
Um,
in general did slavery ever have to be a thing? Much less chattel
laziness,
slavery.
uh, rankings of turnover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ignorance. These are the three big ones that
Yeah. You know, people have wondered why I don't really like to celebrate July 4th. And it's like, you know, what
I.
if now we are making an uphill battle. But yeah, nah. I'm still not entirely ready to celebrate this country. You know?
July 4th should be treated just like St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, all of that stuff, where you turn what was a bad situation into a reason to celebrate your friends and family. You can kind of make it about food. Like, Thanksgiving is definitely a food celebration.
Yeah.
So, you could do the hamburgers and hot dogs, the sort of,
The food celebration, the summer celebration. Sure, I get that.
you know,
But
the fact that it was a day that we celebrated not being oppressed by our oppressors while we still oppress slaves seems redundant.
Yeah. Seems not redundant, but
Hypocritical.
yes. It really does sort of feel like it takes that, you know, like what yeah, it takes that away from it. It's like, what, you don't get to celebrate freedom from your oppressor if you're oppressing people. But
Yeah.
I mean, but apparently you do. If you have big enough guns, you get to celebrate anything you want. You know, that's kind of the lesson here. That's
Or if you're the children of the people who have the big gun, then you get to sell it.
right. Right. And that's still the world we live in. We still
And
live in a world
it's
of
been in our
might
favor
makes
a couple
right.
of times.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Um, and if we as a species can't get past that, we as a species aren't going to make it off this planet.
Yeah, you remember the Snickers commercial? You're not you when you're hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why we need to feed everybody. Once hunger is eliminated, things will be much easier to get to that place.
Yeah. Once once we're no longer forced to labor, once we can choose to labor, we will uh we will advance much quicker and much further. But we have to give up on the thought that just because we were forced to labor, then we must force others to labor. We must give up on the thought of fair, honestly, because, oh, I had to do all of this crap, so it's only fair that everybody else has to, too.
See, this is where we get into the comparison.
Right,
Once the human condition can get through the I laid down in the mud so that other people could run over me as like a joyous thing,
right,
rather than now you have to lay down in the mud too. Things will be different.
right. Exactly.
Basically, what the United States of America was founded on was, well, I had to struggle to get here, and so now that I'm here, you can't. Doesn't
N-
matter how much you can struggle to get. So basically, exactly what we did. We landed on the shores. We took out everybody. And turned around and said, "No, you can't
Said, no, you can't what?
come in."
Oh, yeah. Yes. That is exactly what we did. I hear the baby crying. My heart is breaking.
Where's the closest pharmacy? You have to drive all the way into Charlottesville.
What?
Where's your closest pharmacy? Do you have to drive all the way into Charlottesville?
Lake Monticello.
Okay. I could not remember if there was one at Science Crossroad.
There is not.
There's,
Well,
there's
there's
a UVA pharmacy, but that's it.
and
It's not like
Walmart.
a CVS.
Walmart
Oh
has
yeah,
Walmart's a
yes,
pretty
Walmart
full.
does do it.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
pretty full
that's true.
pharmacy.
Okay.
Um,
So still kind of far, but at least not too terrible.
right. I got a couple of different cough syrups. They didn't have the one that she asked me to get, the brand that she asked me to get.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of other ones, other brands that were of that age or similar. But after stream, I might just run back out to go get the one that the specific brand that she asked for. Just
You have to go to a
because,
different place.
huh?
Will you have to go to a different place?
Yeah, yeah,
To,
yeah, yeah. I went to the stores near me, the grocery store and Dollar General near me. So now I'm gotta, yeah, like I'm gonna try next. I'm gonna try Lake Monticello and Zion's.
I wonder how difficult it would be to put in like a CVS or a Walgreens in your area, like perhaps over there near the Food Lion.
Uh, well, the Rite Aid couldn't stay open.
But, I mean, there's enough people in your area.
No,
Eh, I
I
guess
mean the
enough of
Rite
those people
Aid.
travel in and out.
They opened a Rite Aid like a year or two ago, maybe 3 years ago,
Oh, geez, really? Okay.
and it closed.
Damn.
Like I was gonna go into the Rite Aid to look there, but they were
On.
well, the doors are shuttered. I mean, maybe it's still open certain times of the day, but yeah, no, there's not enough people here to support a pharmacy. And too many of them. This isn't an old aging community. This
Yeah.
it was
Just,
a while back, but it's not really anymore. So, most of the people here are young and healthy, and it's a bedroom community for Charlottesville.
yeah.
So there's not really the need for a pharmacy, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But you know what? The same thing that happened to Gordonsville.
Well, when I was growing up, Gordonsville had a pharmacy.
Oh yeah, this town had one too, like the Gordonsville pharmacy.
Was it attached to an elderly home?
No, no. It,
Because I believe that's what kept the Gordonsville one open as long as it
well,
was.
remember that it also switched to where the old IGA was and stayed there for years.
Hmm, okay.
Yeah, it didn't stay attached to the old folks.
Yeah, they should have stayed there.
You know, the old folks home in Gordonsville. The afterlife's waiting room.
Yeah.
You'd know a room opened up when you'd see the hearse pull out. Boy, is that dark. That is just whew. There's a lot of stuff about Gordonsville that I think is pretty messed up. Like, I can't put my finger on all of it, but there is some just messed up energy in that town. I am.
Yes and no. There's a lot of painful history, just like with all of our history. There's a few good spots with a lot of hope. we need to be able to learn from that.
I meant more like there was I mean, other than and I do, yeah, you're right. But no, there was a more esoteric darkness in that town. A more esoteric creepiness. You know, like the girl getting shot down on Cadmus. Randomly getting killed down on Cadmus. Like, Gordonsville is too small a town for gun violence now that ever since they took the drug trade out of it. You know? It's just not big enough town for that kind of stuff. But it was always there was always an undercurrent of violence in the town.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad stuff that happened, including up to the point when we were there.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm glad to be out of there. I'm glad that was never my hometown. I'm sorry, Brock. I don't mean to put it like that. I just realized
I don't care, dude.
Okay. I'm glad it was never my hometown. I'm glad it was never. I'm glad I'm out of there and have cut ties with it. There's, yeah, like, I'm good.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Charlottesville. Like you said, everything around Charlottesville is just a place to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So Charlottesville is the place to represent.
Yep. And of course, Charlottesville has all of its own painful history. And it has
up
its
to
own,
and including the times that we were living there.
right? It also has its own really messed up energy. But it's easier for me to put my finger on that. That has a lot to do with the way that people in that town act. And how entitled a lot of the older people in that town act. I'm having an open mind about the younger generation, because the members of the younger generation in that town that I am interacting with are not behaving like the older people, like the people used to. There are members of the younger generation that are still behaving like Charlottesvillians, but a lot of the people that I'm interacting with aren't behaving like that.
I'm getting about a 50-50 mix.
50-50.
I've got a lot of people that still have what would be considered the older generation. I know you can almost tell the difference. by the child.
Yeah. Oh, pardon me. Huh. I think I'm starting to lose energy here. I don't want to cut this. Hey, no digging. He digs into my cover, like under my covers, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to tire out here. Pardon me. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you guys for being here. Wasabi, Just Me Crystal. I appreciate it. Much love, guys. All you lurkers out there, much love. I hope you all are having a wonderful day or night. And, be good to each other. Because it's the right thing to do.
What was it that Michelle McNamara said? The world is chaos. Be kind to each other.
The world is chaos. Be kind to each other.
I believe that's what she said.
Sounds about right. Oh, pardon me. Again. Well, thank you guys for being here. And, now's the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA double deuces. We're out, y'all.
It's about the fusion of optical and acoustic impulses to a whole experience and the exit from reality.
Also Space war immer ein Begriff, ich glaube, über den waren sich alle einig. Wahrscheinlich der einzige Begriff, den alle gut fanden. So, es ging halt um Space zu kreieren, wo alle abfallen können und wo man eben neue Freiheiten eigentlich.
Industrial Music. Industrial Music.
Entwicklung von unterschiedlichen stilistischen Richtungen, so auch was Art